my name is Brisha.
And my name is Shaquita,
and welcome to our channel. With this video, we just wanted to touch base back on how we're doing. Yes. And also,
welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. On the last video, we talked more about just our singleness, what our friendship looked like, and also just some of the trials that we had to go through with going through this whole singleness as mothers. But with this video, we kind of wanted to align with that a little bit and just see what it looks like for us today, and also how it looks like for us if we are open and inviting to the opposite sex. Are you open?
I'm trying to be. Because the first video, it would, on a scale of 1 to 10, I probably would have to say a 1. But now I would say that I'm open and inviting to the opposite sex, only because I'm more confident within myself and where I am in regards to my focus. I'm doing other things in regards to leadership in my workplace, and so just knowing who I am in God is helping me to be open and inviting.
Well, for me, I guess it depends on the day. If I'm honest, like I feel like I'm definitely more inviting to the opposite sex, but what I'm finding more difficult in this season is trying to find the balance between having faith in God for what He's promised me, and then also not being like, okay, are you him? Are you him? Are you him? So I feel like it's a tug of war, because some months, some weeks, or some days I can feel like I have all the faith. I know what God has promised me. I know what He has planned. Well, I don't know everything He has planned for me, just what He has told me. But I'm faithful knowing that that's going to come, and I am at peace with that. And then there will be moments where I just am ready for my spouse to come because I want it in my timing. And in those moments, it's not okay for me to be inviting for someone, because I'm more wanting it to be on my timing than anything else. So I feel like it's a tug and pull in that, because it's like some days I am more inviting, and then some days it's like, no, I have to just submit this to God, because maybe I am idolizing this a little bit more than I should at this moment.
Yeah, you made a good point, even when you said that, it all depends on the day. For me, I know that if I'm not thinking about it, if I'm focused on something else, then it's not in my mind and I'm good. Like sometimes you'll reach out and you'll be like, girl, today is rough. And then I have days where I'm like, oh, good, girl. I'm believing everything that God has for me. And then there's days where I reach out to you and I'm like, wait, comment, it's not fair. Because I watched something on YouTube, I was on Facebook, and I saw something, that I feel like that I should have right here and right now. And so, So I'm open, I'm inviting, but then there's still moments where I'm like,
I feel like it's moments where we're trying to be more protective of our heart, to guard our heart. Because we've recognized throughout this season that we do have to be careful on what we watch, what we see, and conversation that we allow to be ourselves to be a part of. Because sometimes we know in some seasons or some areas, it's completely fine for me to watch romantic movies over and over, and it has no effect. But in moments where I may feel a little lonely or feel like I'm ready for my spouse to come now, and it's just like, okay, God, where is He at? Is He coming? It's not the best time for me to be watching a romantic movie, or to be listening to love songs, or to be in the midst of conversations where someone is talking about, oh, they want this in a spouse, they want this in a spouse, because that can be triggering for me in that moment when I'm trying to give that back over to God instead of trying to have my own will and go out and find my own guy. So I feel like having those safe boundaries, and that's why it's very important for us to be transparent with each other as well, where I can call her or text her and be like, hey, sis, like, I'm praying that God protects your heart right now, but sis, right now, like, I am desiring a spouse more than I have been lately, and I'm wanting my way over God's timing. So being able to have her to protect my blind side by just being transparent And another day where I'm like, sis, I didn't do nothing today but watch movies, and she's seeing that I'm watching romance videos, she can kind of do a post check and check my heart to see what's going on, and vice versa.
And then it also determines how we interact with the opposite sex, because if you're watching romantic videos or you watching things on YouTube,
Girl, don't be flirting with him.
Dating with the purpose and all that, and you're like, okay, well, he must be coming. He has to be coming soon. And so when you do get around the opposite sex, you're just, you're wondering, like you said.
Looking for signs.
Yeah, you're looking for the signs of what you watched on TV.
Girl, yeah, I completely get it, because it's like sometimes you'll build it up in your head and you're like, okay, well, he must be coming because this, and this has happened, so he's got to be coming. So every guy you meet, you're like, okay, well, is this him? Is he coming? Okay, he smiled at me a little bit longer that time, or he liked my post, so that must be, he got to be the one that God has for me. But it's not necessarily that way. We've found that over and over again. To say the least.
Yes, so when we say, are we open and inviting to the opposite sex, we're having to learn that it doesn't necessarily have to be in regarding a relationship or a marriage. It could just be maintaining a friendship. And so during the last video, I know that if a guy would have approached me, my mindset would have been, okay, God, this has to be him. But now if a guy approached me just for conversation or even a compliment, you're beautiful, or hey, I like your dress or your coat or shoes, whatever the conversation may be about, I will, of course, make sure my heart is guarded, but also be open to accepting that compliment. Just because a guy compliments you doesn't mean he's trying to get with you. He could just be saying, hey, you're beautiful, or I like your hair, or you got some...
Girl, it may just be that you looked real bomb that day and he noticed. That's it.
So I think it's important. I think that's an important question to ask yourself. Are you open and inviting to the opposite sex, and, and what's your motive behind it?
Right. I know in the beginning of our friendship, we were talking about when we first started in small groups. Mm-hmm. And we were like, no, we can't do any co-ed small group right now, because looking at a guy in there, like in small group, it can be a very vulnerable time, because you're really depending on your community to help you through whatever it is you're going through, and just learning God's word as well. But back then we were just like, no, like there's no co-ed small group right now, because my heart would be focused on the wrong thing instead of focused on God and community. How do you feel that your heart is right now in regards to co-ed small groups or anything similar to that?
A co-ed small group? I probably would do it, only because I don't, even though I'm open and inviting to male friendships or the opposite sex, I don't really have a lot of male guy friends. Yes, I see those at church if I'm out, because you know me, I'm very inviting when it comes to, hey, how you doing? I'm not afraid to speak, but when it comes to having my own personal relationship with the guy, I don't have that. So I think that would be an opportunity for me to maybe just kind of put myself out there in regards to being friends with, male, but in a safe space.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In a safe space.
I can honestly say that I have not had an actual male friend. Like, maybe like coworkers or an acquaintance, like just in passing, but an actual guy friend where I like confide in information with, like, I've never had an actual guy friend before. Like, I don't even know what that would look like in terms of just having a guy friend, because it's always been female friends. Like, and if I were close to a guy in that way, we were dating. So I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely interested in having a guy friend, but God would definitely have to lead me all the way through that and navigate it, because I wouldn't know what it would be like to be a friend with a guy.
I agree. And then wanting to, even now, sometimes it's like, okay, so what's your motive? Because the guys that have approached us in the past, it was more so, it always led to a relationship, never a friendship. So,
right. Well, I think that that's because of where we were as well.
This is
what
true.
we were attracting as well back then. But because we're not those same women, we are able to spot out those red flags.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, we may not know everything or everyone's motives, but just in terms for friends, like, I feel like we have pretty good judge of character with God's grace.
It has changed.
Definitely has changed.
It's changed a lot.
So, well, we do have to still be aware of it, but I definitely feel like it would just be a learning curve, to say the least, of how to truly be a friend to a guy, because that's not something that I've had before. But, yeah.
Okay. So my question is, do you feel like, because you mentioned that in the past, you know, we attracted a different character, a different type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like because of our journey that we are taking now, and our heart checks, do you find, because, and we also mentioned we don't have any really guy friends, do you think it's a reason for that?
Reason for what? That we don't have guy friends?
Yeah, that we don't have guy friends. Do you think that God was like shielding us for a specific time? Or do you feel as though, even though we may feel like we're open inviting, that a guy don't look at us, a guy don't look at us and be like, she look mean, or
well, I mean, I do have a pretty bad case of resting bee face, so I mean that could be a portion of it. But no, I don't necessarily think that a guy is more standoffish. I feel like it may just be more of our past history and what we have gone through. Not necessarily that we haven't been healed from those past relationships or the past scenarios, but that because we've also explained that it depends on what season it's in.
Right.
Like how our heart is in that moment, that we're looking like, okay, I'm content right now, or are you him or are you him? Mm-hmm. So sometimes I feel like a lot of the girlfriends that I know that are single, it's like, okay, if I'm single, if he starts talking to me, maybe he is interested. And when you realize that he's not interested, okay, are you still open to the friendship? Or at that point, is it just like, okay, well, that wasn't him. So it may not necessarily be them being standoffish. It's, are you truly open to having a male friendship at this moment? Or are you just interested in, if he's the one, then okay, we can communicate. If not, I already have girlfriends, so I'm not interested. Because I haven't been intentional about having any guy friends.
Yeah.
So, like, and there's plenty of guys that we worship with at church that we see, that we play kickball with, that we've seen, like, and they're cool guys. They really are. But I haven't been intentional about being any of their friends just in passing. Like, I'll worship with you in the front row, and that's completely fine. But I haven't been intentional about, hey, is there a outing going on? Like, let's all hang out or something. Like, I haven't been intentional about that. But with girls, I'm more intentional. Hey, what's your number? We should hook up. We should get our kids together, or whatever it is. Like, I'm more intentional about seeking friendships with females than I am with men.
Okay, so it's not an issue of just not being open and fine. So that's good to know. So I guess when Rona allow things to open back up, could you see us going to different events with where there's a co-ed of men and women, and possibly...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, girl, we've been in events with co-eds. Like, we can't go nowhere without guys being there. But yeah, I mean, like, we go there, and once COVID-19's over, girl, am I going to be in the house? That is the question.
Oh my God.
Like,
that is the question. So another question just popped up in my mind, just random. So are you open to approaching a guy? Or would the guy have to approach you before a friendship is started?
For a friendship.
Yeah. So if we're
I feel like it will be either or, but because I haven't been intentional about it before, I hadn't thought about it. But I feel like it's not that nerve-wracking to be like, hey, I want to be your friend. I feel like it'd be different if it's like, hey, I like you, take me on a date type of thing. Like, that is a whole different level. But, like, just for friendships, like, absolutely. Okay, hey, you're cool. we have this event going on. You should come. Like, nobody's trying to, as long as the intentions are clear, I feel like that's not the issue. It would only become a problem if I'm trying to be your friend and all I want to be is your friend, and then you want more. That's when it becomes awkward, or vice versa. But other than that, like, if we both are just trying to be cool and trying to be friends, like, I wouldn't mind being like, hey, let's hang out. That's not an issue. Shoot, friendship. Trying to find a friend is
not the issue.
Yeah.
Trying to find a friend. It's not the issue.
Like, that doesn't bring me anxiety. To be like, hey, do you want to be friends? Like, okay, you don't? All right, bye. I got a best friend. Not a loss here.
Okay, so same question for me.
Yes.
Would I just walk up to someone, you know, just a guy? I would.
I feel like you would.
Yeah.
Because you're very outgoing. It's because I don't feel like you would be pressed because it's a friendship, and you would do that to a girl easily. So I feel like you would definitely do that to a guy. You'd be like, hey, my name's Quita. All bubbly.
How you doing? I think the issue for me comes with if I
If
I like, if I find the guy attractive, then I don't think I probably would be open to like just walking up to him because I want my motive to be pure. But maybe it's okay to seek a friendship first.
Yeah. Do you think that you can seek a friendship if you have already said or thought that you're attractive to him? Because that's where I feel like it may be a difficult situation for me, because if I see someone, a guy, and I'm like, okay, he is attractive, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna just go up and try to be friends, like, I feel like I would be deceiving myself. I feel like it would be like conversations that we've had where it's like, oh no, girl, he good, he loved the Lord, he good, when that's not the situation. Like, we aren't those girls anymore. We know the red flags, and we know when we're lying to ourselves. Like, so do you feel that would be a hard stop if you found him attractive for you to even initiate a friendship?
No.
Does that mean you only can have ugly guy friends?
I think it would be okay if I talk to you about it first. As long as I kept you in the loop, only because I want to make sure I know where I'm going with it.
And for the people in the back, because they don't necessarily know our friendship, so they may be looking at this like, wait, why do you have to tell her? Why do you feel like you have to tell her just for a friendship? Why are you saying that?
Because for one, accountability. Two, I'm not strong. I'm not strong.
You are strong.
I mean, I'm strong, but in that area, if I'm hiding something from somebody, if I'm hiding something from you, if I feel like I got to keep it to myself before I let you know what's going on, then that's a red flag for me.
Right.
Because we talk about everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. So if I feel like that I'm going to go out and, you know, make a friend with a guy, don't say anything to you about it, so you can watch my blind side.
Exactly.
Because what if I'm going with the right intentions and they may not be?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one thing that we've really learned in our friendship, just really being transparent. We're really big on that because we can't protect each other's blind side if we don't know. So in situations where we may think that it's okay, and it's not saying that, oh, I need her permission to or approval for a guy or anything like that. Like, yes, I definitely want her approval because that's bestie. So of course, but she also leads me back to God when I'm thinking elsewhere, when my flesh is rising up more than my heart for God or desire to please him, because I'm human. So she can lead me back. But if I'm in a space where I am trying to not tell her something, there's a reason why I'm not trying to do that. There's an enemy that's coming in and telling me that it's okay to just do what it is that I desire, that I want to, because he knows that it'll lead me a different way. And if it's something that's good for me, why wouldn't I be able to share it with her? If I'm just going to the store, I'm not going to hide that from her if we're on the phone. So why hide anything that's innocent?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I guess just to kind of reel it back in. So yeah. If I'm attracted to the guy, I probably would approach him, just seeking a friendship first, because I know one thing I pray about in regards to marriage is that me and my husband, we're friends first. So
See, but then you brought it right back to husband. So is everything on our single minds eventually leading up to a husband? Are we not able to just have a friendship, not worried about a husband at all? Because we're talking about just friendships, but yes, we do desire to be friends with our future spouses, but why did you have to bring up husband right then when we were just talking about friendships?
Because...
Is that still in the back of our mind?
No, I don't think it's still in the back of my mind, but I just brought up husband because it's like, in order for me to be friends with my husband, I got to be open and inviting to being friends
with a guy.
Yeah, with the guy. So how can I, if I want to be friends with my husband, I'm not open and inviting to being friends with a guy, then how's that going to happen? How is it going to happen?
Okay.
I remember when we were part of a small group and just ladies getting together. You say I drug you there.
Girl, it was way out in the boonies though. Like,
so when I was new in my walk, we were part of a lot of communities, accountability. And so when I met Preacher, we just blended our lives together. So I went to this small group, and if she watching, thank you, girl. Thank you for sharing your story.
yes.
But she basically was saying, you know, how she met her husband and the platform she met him. And
Christian Mingle.
And so we decided, okay.
Well, we gonna make us a Christian Mingle because he coming through Christian Mingle like that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think it was, the same weekend we found out about that we made a Christian Mingle?
It was the same weekend, because I told her about it.
Girl.
I said, well, she signed up for Christian Mingle. And she said, well, okay. So we all,
sat right there on my bed and made our profiles. Like, how does this profile look? How does this profile look?
Oh, my gosh.
It didn't go anywhere. We ended up deleting those profiles like the same week because that's just not how I desired to be pursued.
At all.
But because of our mindset
mm-hmm.
and because we were desiring a spouse so much, it was like, okay, well, God said that he'll do it for her, so I know he'll do it for me, and that's how he did it for her, so maybe he trying to communicate that that's what we need to do too.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Our mindset has changed so much from then.
We have come a long way from being so focused and being knee deep into the struggle to now I feel like we're able to have our heads above the water, mm-hmm. and we're more confident in ourselves, our walk, our foundation, and God. So now we're able to do a video about us being open and inviting to men. So we have come a long way to listening to other people's stories and wanted it to become our own and take control of our own destiny when regarding our spouse. And now we're making a video about us being open and inviting to the opposite sex.
Girl, there will be times, do you remember where I just knew? It's been more than one time.
It's okay.
But
it's okay.
One time where I just knew, I was like, I know that that's him. I know that that's him. And he is going to approach me on this Sunday. This Sunday. Like, I put the date to it, the time to it. Like, he's going to approach me this Sunday. I just know it.
And guys, she wouldn't tell me that she was...
Needless to say, it didn't happen that way. So, yeah. But now, like, although we still have those struggles where it's like sometimes we do still desire our husband and our spouse to be here sooner than later, we have been able to fight differently. We've been able to one, be transparent to each other and not just go through that alone so that we can get accountability and also be led back to the Word of God. But also we know how to fight different in our prayer closet. Like before, it may have been one of those things where we just ignore that we're feeling that way and just allow it to fester. And now we realize that when those emotions are coming towards us, like we have to address it head on.
and then just be okay with where we're at. You know, where we are mentally, and being okay with, just sharing our struggles with each other. And y'all, it's not just us. It's not just us in this walk alone. We do have other friends, but me and Risha, we've just gotten closer, fought through different battles together. We have prayed. We've just done a lot. And so, yeah, here we are. Back again with another video.
Right? Just here to show you that we're not perfect. We're still going through these struggles and trying to navigate this as well, but you're not alone. We're all dealing with this in our own way, but we just wanted to be a friendly face, just reminding you that just like you, we're trying to figure it out too.
Thank you guys for watching.
We hope that you like the videos, and we hope that you come back, like, comment, subscribe, and share our video.
Hit that like button.